Enter the world of autism.
Cut.
I have autism. And so can you. I am.
Cut.
Today, I'm going to talk about 10 behaviors of people with ASD. Number 1, difficulty with social interaction. So conversations have always been hard for me. Initiating conversations and maintaining conversations, both challenging for me. I started one of my companies and it grew relatively quickly. Before I was diagnosed with ASD, my role was overseeing the entire staff. So I was the managing director of about 75 individuals. That was broken down into a lot of teams. I had to meet regularly with these teams, team leads, team members. I was having meetings every day. It was completely exhausting. I was having so many conversations and I was having to mask so often and focus on what I was saying. I was having to focus on the people I was talking to, their body language. I was really honing in on eye contact, and half the time I had no idea what they were saying back to me because I couldn't focus on all of this stuff. It was just completely exhausting. So I would come home, half the time I would be drenched in sweat. People would look at me funny like, your air conditioning was blazing, why are you so hot? I was completely exhausted. So I'd just come home, drenched in sweat, usually hop in the shower, sit in there and relax, decompress, and then come out and just not wanting to do anything. This portion of my life was very, very challenging because I was very passionate about the work and I cared a lot about the company. So after I was diagnosed with ASD, I made one life-altering change. Instead of meeting with all of these individuals, having all of these different meetings, I focused on 3 individuals. I guess I would call them my senior executive leaders. They understood that I had ASD. They knew how I operated. I could basically let down my guard when I talked with them. So it was much less stressful. That was very, very important for me. Once I was able to do that, work wasn't nearly as exhausting. I was able to free up a lot of my brain power to make much better decisions. I had a lot more energy after work. I had a lot more energy during work. I didn't come home drenched in sweat. Everything was different. Number 2, focused interests. So like many individuals with high functioning autism, I have focused interests. I guess the one that's most relevant, that's been with me the most, is designing spaces. I regularly buy design books and read them, and then I reread them. And I'll reread them for months at a time. If I'm reading a design book that's really good and I'm captivated by one particular page, I can spend 2-3 hours just looking at one page. When I'm designing spaces, I think about nothing else. I'm completely immersed in what I'm doing. Time literally disappears. Sometimes people around me disappear. It's like I'm entering a whole new world, and that's all I need to focus on. I think I've been particularly lucky because designing space is very much relevant to one of the companies that I founded. It was an educational company, and one of the elements of that was schools. So I was lucky enough to be able to design classrooms, design libraries to maximize the learning capacity of the students. Design and functionality, but how it relates to individuals' learning. From a design standpoint, that's extremely challenging. Designing spaces that enhance cognitive capability. It was overwhelmingly exciting. I remember going into these buildings completely empty, and I would have my team around me. They would be asking me questions, and pretty soon, everything would just be tuned out. Since being diagnosed, I no longer pull away from those areas that I'm very, very interested in. I figure out ways to apply them to my life, whether it's my personal life or my work life. It doesn't matter. I don't try to hide them. I don't tell myself, oh, you shouldn't spend too much time doing this. If I'm interested in it and that's what I want to do, I figure out a way to make it work. And I think that's really, really been a game changer for me moving forward. Number 3, repetitive behaviors. I do repetitive behavior. I do a lot of it. It is kind of funny because when I think about some of the things that I do, it's kind of weird. Even to me, it's weird. To other people, I imagine it's just nuts, but it's part of being autistic. So when people think of repetitive behavior, they oftentimes think of stimming. And the truth is every person stimmies, but autistic people tend to do it more frequent, it could be more exaggerated, and the reasons we do it oftentimes are different than other people. Oftentimes when people think of stimmy, they think of rocking back and forth. I do that. If it's sensory overload for me, a lot of noise, flashing lights, I'll start rocking back and forth. People asking me too many questions. Sometimes I'm aware of it, but oftentimes I'm not. The other form of stimming that comes to mind that a lot of people don't think about is what we say. So for example, I will say things not based on the meaning of the words or the sentence, but because it sounds really good. I like the way it feels in my mouth. One example is I am shy. Shy. I am shy. I don't know what it is about that sentence, but I say it all the time. I say it every day. I say it multiple times a day. So when Debbie comes home and maybe my brain's overwhelmed and she asks me a question or a series of questions and I don't want to answer it, I'll just tell her, I am shy. And she'll smile and she'll giggle. Shy. Shy. I'm shy. Shy. If I'm out and with people that aren't aware of some of the weird things that I do, I have to mask. And I do that out of respect for other people. I don't want to make other people have a weird experience. I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. If we're at a restaurant meeting with friends or acquaintances that aren't fully familiar with my autism, then I don't say these things. But oh my gosh, is it hard not to sometimes. If I'm in a restaurant with Debbie and I'm feeling overwhelmed and I'm realizing that I can't stimmy because I'm paying very, very close attention, I just keep thinking about shy. It takes over all of my brain. People, when they're talking, I see their faces moving, but all I can think about is, I am shy. Sometimes it gets so bad, it's gonna burst. I can just feel it bursting. And I don't wanna weird Debbie out. I don't wanna weird all these people out. So I'll just lean into Debbie and I'll pretend I dropped something on a booth and I'll just whisper in her ear, shy. I am shy. I find the urge to pull at my hair, to tug at it, usually in the back, sometimes in the front. Sometimes I'll spin it around and just make it stick up like a unicorn horn. Sometimes I'll make two horns on the side to look like antennas. I'm not doing it to be silly. I'm just something that my body naturally does when I feel overstimulated or overwhelmed or sometimes just excited. Number 4, literal interpretation of language. Literal interpretation of language. This is so true. And I think this is one of the things that really makes me uncomfortable. If a person says something, but they mean something different, I'm lost. I'm not gonna understand. Best case scenario, I won't have any clue what you're talking about. Worst case scenario, I'll have an idea of the possibility that there could be multiple meanings here, and it'll just make me worry and feel anxious. And I'll probably start sweating. I will start sweating. Number 5, sensitivity to sensory stimuli. There are so many things that I'm overly sensitive to. Before I was diagnosed, this would just drive me nuts because no one else seemed to be bothered by these things and they would rip my brain apart. Oh man, sometimes it was just extremely frustrating, but almost lonely feeling. Lonely-like. It's hard to explain because everyone else is okay and they're fine and nobody else seems to notice these things. But in my mind, there's a war going on in my brain. A couple of things that really, really bother me. Clanging dishes. That's like nails on a chalkboard for me. When I go to restaurants, if I go out to eat, and I really don't like to go out to eat to restaurants, but you're always gonna hear servers or the busboys or people in the kitchen, they're clanging the dishes. And it drives me crazy. It's like an electrical current going from the base of my neck all the way into my brain. It's like I'm being electrocuted over and over and over again. I don't have any tags on my clothes. I take all my tags off because if I'm wearing a shirt and the tag starts rubbing against my skin, I can't focus on anything. It feels like fire ants just digging into my skin and I'm itching constantly. The other thing that's really unique is if I'm taking a bath and water gets on my face and starts dripping, that drives me crazy. I absolutely hate when water drips on my face. I can't stand it. If I'm in the shower, I have to towel my face off pretty regularly because I don't want anything dripping on my face. Bright flashing lights are bad news for me. I don't like bright flashing lights. So when I'm driving and there's a person behind me and they have those new cool LED things, this is usually if I'm in a car and there's a truck behind me and there's the little bumps in the road and I see those, I see the lights, they bing, bing, they flick. That is horrible. That's a really horrible experience. I want to move my rear view mirror. Actually, secretly what I want to do is punch the driver of that truck in the face. There's a couple of things that I do to help me deal with being overstimulated. Obviously, I might stimmy or I might say certain things, shy, but one of the things I do that's a little bit more proactive now is I always carry soundproof headphones. When I'm on airplanes, when I'm going to restaurants, if I need to leave the apartment, I carry the noise canceling headphones. Number 6, adherence to routine. I think a lot of people like routines. They like knowing what to expect. You develop this kind of habit, it frees up space in your brain to do other things. I also fall into that category where I like routines. Where it goes to another level with high functioning autism is if you stray from that routine, it causes pain. What I mean by that is if I'm set on a specific routine and I deviate from that, I experience high levels of anxiety. I could experience severe exhaustion. I might even have a meltdown, and those aren't good. Sometimes my stomach will hurt a lot. I get nauseous. Sometimes it leads to diarrhea, which is never fun. Nobody wants diarrhea. There are certain routines that I have to adhere to. One example is the route that I take to work. So if there's a place that I have to go to regularly, I need to follow the same route. It doesn't matter what's in between that route. If taking that same route means there's going to be extensive delays or inconveniences, I don't care. I will take that same route. I have to take that same route. I remember I was supposed to meet a friend at a restaurant, and this is a restaurant that I patroned many, many times. I've been to this place a lot. It's relatively close to my house, so I felt good about going there. I knew the route. I knew where I had to go. Of all the days, I'm walking to this restaurant, taking the route that I have to take, and they're cutting trees. So they block off the entire portion of the road. The sidewalk's blocked off, the road is blocked off, everything's blocked off. I tried it because I was looking in the direction. I think, you know what? I can just go a block over. I'm shy. I thought I could shy myself around and just take a diverted route. It didn't happen. I just couldn't do it. I started to sweat. It was getting hard to breathe. I guess symptoms associated with like a panic attack, that's what happens. Most people would have deviated. They just would have maybe went a block over and they would have kept going to the restaurant. Not this guy. I turned back around and I went home and I messaged my friend and said, I'm not gonna be able to go. Number 7, executive functioning difficulties. One way that it impacts my life is I have no concept of time. I regularly ask people what day of the month it is, what day of the week it is. I rarely know the time of day. I don't carry a watch. I don't really carry anything because I'm always afraid I'm gonna lose it. I don't understand time, and I don't think about time the way that most people do. To be honest, I don't even think about time. I can't. It's too challenging for me. It's hard. When I'm talking with Debbie, she likes to discuss plans. I like to discuss plans. I like to know what's going on in the day. It's also really important for me, especially at the start. Sometimes the night before we'll talk about it because it helps me go to bed. But when I wake up, we have a routine that we do when we wake up, and it's important that I follow it. But one of the aspects of that routine is what's going on in the day, what's happening, and we talk about that. The interesting thing about that though is I can only really focus on 1 or 2 events. Focusing on the entire day is stressful for me. I can grasp 1 or 2 projects at a time. I like to know what's going on in the day. And then sometimes I like to know what's going on for the week because I don't like to get surprised with things. And what happens all the time is a surprise pops up. Debbie will be like, hey, I told you about this yesterday. Sometimes she'll be, I told you about it this morning. Or she'll say, we talked about this before. And in my mind, I'm like, no, we didn't. But we did. And she got me a few times because she would record conversations and then she would play them back to me. Because otherwise I would never believe it. Oh, Debbie, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that. So I don't like the surprises, but at the same time, I can't handle long drawn out schedules of what's going to happen. It's frustrating to me because I need it, but at the same time, I can't handle it. So how it works for me, we just focus on 1 day at a time. And if it's something that I have to do later in the week, I don't want to get surprised with it. We have a place where it's written down and I know that I can check it. I have to check it every day. Even if I check it one day, I'll probably forget and need to check it again the next day. Actually, there have been times where Debbie has told me about something. She's written it on our special spot. The day showed up and I got mad because I was convinced nobody told me. Oh, Debbie, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that. What works for me is I focus on specific tasks. I focus on specific projects. If I start a day and I know that there's 4 or 5 things that I have to do, we might quickly talk about it. Whether or not I'm paying attention honestly depends on how I'm feeling at that particular time. But what I will focus on is what event is coming up next. After we eat breakfast, or what's the first thing that I need to do in the day. That's what I'll focus on. Number 8, emotional sensitivity. Sometimes we just have a difficult time handling our emotions. If I'm experiencing high levels of emotion, I have a hard time handling it. A lot of the times, not all of the time, but a lot of the times it's challenging for me. Debbie and I might be doing something and all of a sudden I just have a strong emotional response. And that could be anger, it could be a meltdown, it could be just a sudden retreat, it could be me completely leaving the room unannounced. I think the challenge for people who aren't autistic is the suddenness of it. It just seems like it came out of left field. what happened? Like, why are you doing this? And the truth is, for me, sometimes it's difficult to pinpoint why that particular response happened, what triggered it. There's so many variables at place, it can be hard for me to process why I behaved in that particular way. Maybe it's because I didn't get enough sleep the night before. It could be because I've had a bunch of triggers that were building up, maybe certain sounds. Maybe I was hungry. And the other thing with high functioning autism is sometimes we don't remember to eat or drink. Since being diagnosed, I document things more. I pay more attention to things that trigger me. This has helped because I have a better idea of what's going on, like certain senses in my body. I know that I'm kind of in red alert territory. I need to not go into that restaurant, or I need to not socialize with people. You know, maybe I just need to go somewhere quiet. It might be a situation where I just leave the room, and people who know me understand that. It's not super weird. When I'm explaining it, I can imagine how weird that must be. You know, we're having a conversation and all of a sudden I'm just gone. These are the things that I pay more attention to because I don't want to have these sudden emotional outbursts. I don't want to kind of lose control, and I don't want to do things that I regret, or I don't want to do things that make people uncomfortable. One of the things that I do, I retreat to a safe spot. This safe spot is very important to me because in the safe spot, I know where everything is. The temperature is always right. I have access to everything that I need to calm down and reset. And here's what I do. Here's how it works. When I'm overstimulated and I'm feeling something happening, I'll go to my safe spot. The first thing I do is I sit in a comfortable spot and I focus on one particular thing. And usually what I focus on is something related to a design element. It's either like a beautiful manor house, maybe I'm in a library in a manor house, maybe I'm in a secret passage in a manor house. I'm in a place that I absolutely love. A library is a really common one. A garden is a really common one. Sometimes I'm walking in the woods. I used to do walking on the beach, but weirdly enough, I just saw an episode with sharks, and I absolutely love sharks. I saw this particular YouTube where this guy jumped in off a cliff, and I'm not even sure if it was real or not, but I think it was real. It was scary. He jumps into the ocean and everything's fine. He's doing his swimming thing and you can hear him like he's making noises underwater, and then he turns back and there's a great white shark there. You can feel this guy panicking. He's like making really uncomfortable noises. He's trying to get away. The shark comes close. Oh, it was the most uncomfortable experience that I've had on YouTube. I don't know why, but I watched it again. And I watched it again. I should never have watched that video. I shouldn't have watched it to begin with, but I should never have watched it a second or a third or a fourth time. He ends up getting out. He's okay. Maybe you guys have seen this video. I don't know. But oh, that video really freaked me out. Ever since I saw that YouTube video, I can't envision myself walking on the beach anymore. I can't do it because every time I associate anything with water, that image comes back to me. I'm not sure how long it's gonna stick. No more walking on the beach. So it's usually a spot in a garden. It's a spot in the forest. I can hear birds chirping. By the way, if you've never been to Australia, you should go to Australia because they have the absolute coolest birds in the world. Kookaburras, they have cockatoos, which are actually kind of annoying with the noises that they make, but they're really smart and fun birds. I think about one spot. By focusing and zooming in on that one spot, I can gravitate towards my breathing. And then as I think of myself breathing, I get control of my breath and everything resets. And I usually have to do that from anywhere between 3 or 4 minutes to sometimes a couple of hours. A lot of it just depends on where I'm at and what's happening. The other thing is, Debbie doesn't come into my safe spot when I'm in the safe spot. She did that a few times and it didn't work out well. Number 9, challenges with eye contact. Eye contact has always been a problem for me. Ever since I can remember, I've hated eye contact. For me, it's 2 reasons. One, sometimes making eye contact just makes me feel uncomfortable. If it's a personal conversation, if I'm having to apologize or I did something wrong. Oh, Debbie, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Oh, Debbie, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry about that. Having to look someone in the eye is very, very, very difficult. If I do it, I can't process what the person is saying. And that's scary for me because if they ask me a question, but I'm unable to process it and I don't answer it, they're going to assume that I'm not listening or I'm being stubborn or I'm just being rude. That can be uncomfortable and challenging. If it's just a normal conversation, I can make eye contact and I can pretend that it doesn't bother me. I guess that's part of the masking. I don't see the need to make eye contact with people. For me, it's not a way of connecting with individuals. In my mind, it's not showing you that I'm paying attention. It's just, I don't care about making eye contact. If I didn't have to make eye contact, I really wouldn't. And oftentimes when I'm in conversations, I have to remind myself, look at the person in the eye at least every once in a while so you don't seem disingenuous or you don't seem rude or weird. I have to constantly remind myself to make eye contact. And sometimes, honestly, because it's uncomfortable for me, I will pick a spot between the eyes or on one of the eyes really close to it, and I'll just look at that. I care about other people. I don't want other people to feel uncomfortable. I make conscientious efforts to make eye contact with people. Number 10, difficulty understanding personal boundaries. My mind doesn't think the same as most people in that words are just words and words exist to be used. I don't fully understand this idea that, oh, you can't use these words in these situations, but you can use them in other situations. What? I'm shy. Sometimes I can get it. I'm not going to go into a professional work meeting and say, oh, wow, guess what? Today I woke up and I shit the bed. But the truth is, there are times when I want to do that. And with people that I work closely with, I will say anything. If it's on my mind, I will say highly inappropriate things. But for me, it's not inappropriate. Part of being autistic is we don't have the same rules when it comes to saying things. This was really tricky for me when my staff started to get larger. I was having to meet with a lot of them, converse with them, and have conversations with them. I got a lot of complaints from HR as my staff got bigger. Obviously, I don't want to offend people. I don't want them to be uncomfortable, but I didn't get it. I didn't understand. Why did that sentence bother them? What was it about my body language that bothered them? Oh, you seem so stern, or you said that word. I didn't get that, and I still have a very, very difficult time with that. Those kinds of things just absolutely do not make sense to me. When I'm in conversations with individuals that don't know me quite well, it's stressful for me because I really have to focus on not saying everything. I'm paying very close attention to what I'm saying. Since being diagnosed, the amount of individuals that I connect with on a daily basis is small. Those individuals allow me pretty much to be who I am. So having autism doesn't mean that I can't control myself. Like, I know the difference between right and wrong. So I'm not gonna go up to someone who got a new haircut and say, oh my God, did you lose a bet?
So the next time you see somebody doing one of these behaviors, realize it could just be someone on the autism spectrum.
Yeah, like me.